Welcome to the Restaurant Show. I'm Justin Riley, and I hope you stick around with us today because we've got some great food from some great local restaurants, including Steven from the Egg and I. He's going to show us how to make white chicken chili. It's a personal favorite of mine. I can't wait to see how they do it Egg and I style. Plus, we'll also be joined by Huma from the White Jasmine, and she's going to teach us Wisconsinites how to cook with spices. Plus, we'll be joined by Humble. They're going to show us some pies, and they're going to join together with Reap Food Group and talk about Pie Palooza. It's all coming up right here on the Restaurant Show, where you can skip the rest and enjoy the best. We'll tell you where to go on the Restaurant Show.
This episode of the Restaurant Show brought to you by AccuClimb Mechanical Services.
Welcome back to the Restaurant Show. If you are a pie man, or woman, as I am, a pie man anyway, you'll want to stay tuned for this segment because we are joined by Jennifer Manns of Humble and Hannah Wente of Reap Food Group. Welcome to the Restaurant Show. Good to have you guys here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm going to start with you, Jennifer, because you brought the goods. You're going to make some pie for us. So I think you're starting out with the crust today, am I right?
I am.
Yeah, let's get started there. And while you're starting, tell us what makes a really great pie crust.
So what makes a really great pie crust is, I'd say, keeping everything cold. Mm-hmm. Cold is the secret. You're trying to keep everything as cold as possible. Mm-hmm. So you're starting out with 2.5 cups of your flour. You're adding in 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Awesome.
And then 1 teaspoon of your coarse sea salt.
Okay, coarse sea salt. I've never heard of putting sea salt in there, but is that better than using like iodized salt or table salt or something like that?
I just prefer the taste of it. It is a little coarser,
Sure.
But the thing about salt is that if you add a pinch of it to something, it makes it taste a little bit more sweet. So
interesting. Salt is meant to bring out the flavor of things.
Yes.
So if it's already sweet, then that's probably what it does. So it looks like we've got a lot of butter here.
We have 2 sticks of butter.
Okay.
You can either use them straight out of the fridge, or you can keep them in the freezer and put them in there for about a half hour until you go ahead and start using them.
Yeah.
You're taking a pastry blender at home, or you can do a fork. It's much more adventurous.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
And you're cutting them up into little pea-sized bits.
And I've got a KitchenAid mixer at home, so I kind of set it and forget it, walk away and go do something else for a while. So yeah,
definitely something you can do as well.
So are there any secret techniques or anything? Can you give us an insight? You said keep it cold. Is there anything else, or is it just kind of good old-fashioned elbow grease that you're using right now?
This cold butter, a lot of elbow grease. I have one very strong arm. And I'd say there's a lot of debate that goes back and forth on the vodka or no vodka crust. The vodka evaporates out and it makes a really nice flaky crust. Obviously, we are a vodka family here at Humble.
Okay.
But there's a lot of debate back and forth on that. And then the shortening versus butter debate. We're an all butter crust, but some people do prefer lard or shortening in their crust.
Okay, all right. So now, as you continue to work there, I'm going to ask, you started out as a baker at Humble and recently took over as owner. Congratulations, by the way. How does it feel to run your own pie shop now?
It feels kind of like everything sort of came full circle.
Sure.
I'd say it's my 8-year plan that turned into my 8-month plan.
Okay.
So I went to UW for English and Communications initially, and baking was something I'd done ever since I was little. I sort of was given free reign of the kitchen. No one else was in there.
Right.
So I was one of Humble's first 3 employees, and then when they decided they were selling the shop, I'd been spending too much time there already. I figured to make it official. So I purchased the shop, and it feels very natural. It feels very much so
You're at home.
Yeah, I do spend more time there than home.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But it's
your real home is your second home. The bakery is your home. So, so you're going to make some crust for us, and then we're going to find out how to make some of these delicious pies. But Hannah, I want to turn to you for a second. Let's talk a little bit about Reap Food Group. What is Reap Food Group's mission?
So we really want to connect people to their food. So we're really about promoting the local food scene, so promoting local farmers and connecting them with chefs and consumers. Okay. We do that through farm to business, so we work with places like Humble to help work with local farmers and get some, great local ingredients that make their pies and other foods taste so much better.
Right.
And then we work in the Madison School District as well with farm to school programs.
That's so cool. So that the local foods are available, you know, for the students in the Madison School District.
That's right. Yeah. So we're in every school, and we do a local snack, and we do garden bars. We're always looking for kind of new ways to engage the kids with how their food is grown and where it comes from.
Okay. All right. How's that pie crust coming? Looks like it's coming together pretty nicely there.
Yes. So this is a cup of water in it. Trying to keep it cold, and then you're going to go ahead and put this in the fridge and let it sit for about 2 hours. And then it's ready to roll out.
All right. And then you've got one that's already been sitting in the fridge.
I do.
Right? Okay.
The key is to keep everything cold.
Keeping everything cold. So do we need to use the other cutting board for this, or can we use this one?
You can go ahead and use that.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So we're here today because Pie Palooza is coming up. So Hannah, I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about how long Pie Palooza has been going on, where people can get tickets, what is it exactly, and just give some folks some more information.
Sure. So Pie Palooza is a local food brunch. It's held at Goodman Community Center. It's going to be Sunday, October 30th.
Okay.
It's our 12th year. So every year we get about 25 different restaurants bake pies for the event. All the proceeds go to REAP Food Group. It's really fun. Each attendee gets 2 pieces of pie from a big pie buffet. So they can kind of choose, do you want savory or sweet?
Okay, savory or sweet pies are all game there. And this is your 12th season, you said?
It is, yep, so it's our 12th year.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations
Yeah,
on that.
thank you.
Fantastic. All right, so you guys have switched places now.
Yeah.
Jen, you're next to me, and looks like this is coming. How thin do you really want a pie crust is my question.
It's okay if the edges are a little bit thicker.
Okay.
For our fruit crusts, we par bake them. So like this, it's when you bake the crust ahead of time. I recommend it for fruit pies. It keeps it really nice and flaky.
So you bake it ahead of time, and then you bake it again when you put the fruit in?
When you put the fruit in, especially for things like we have pears here. Those I picked up at Willie Co-op North, and those are the Harlow sweet pears from Door County.
All right.
But they have this sweet texture, and when you use local ingredients, you don't need to add that much sugar because they're usually in season. So something like that. The pears are soft and ripe, and they shouldn't need to be in the oven very long.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'd like to cut one of these pies and plate it if I could.
Absolutely.
So this is the sweet potato pie, am I right? The cardamom sweet potato.
Cardamom sweet potato.
Okay, so do I just cut a slice? Can I just do that? Just
you can go right ahead.
All right. And then the other one, this one here is the spiced pear, bourbon, and brown sugar pie.
Yes, it is.
That one sounds really fascinating.
I've been known to put bourbon in a handful of our pies.
Yeah, as they say, you like to cook with bourbon, and sometimes you add it to the pie.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to try to get this. I don't think I cut the crust all the way through there. That's my problem. There we go.
It is a thick crust.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can you get that okay? Can you see that? All right. Well, this has been REAP Food Group and Humble. Thank you so much for joining us today. Check out REAP Food Group's website if you want to know more about Pie Palooza, how to get tickets, how to get in and get pie. We'll be right back with more Restaurant Show after the break. Stick around. Coming up next on the Restaurant Show, cooking with spices with white jasmine. Welcome back to the Restaurant Show. With me now is Huma Siddiqui from White Jasmine. Huma, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
You have so
I get
many.
excited. Just an opportunity to cook something.
Well, yeah, and you have so many different spices here, and the aromas are just filling the studio right now. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about White Jasmine. Give us a quick background first.
Sure. White Jasmine is all about flavors.
Okay.
So we started the company. It's a business. It's a family business.
Okay.
So my son and I, we work together. And I started out with cooking classes. You know, I moved to Wisconsin, and I'm sorry, but I've realized that nobody uses any spices.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, let's see if anybody's interested.
Right.
And that's where it has really grown from there. Because I think most people like spices, but they don't know how to use them.
Right.
So that's why I teach a lot of cooking classes. We have the show and everything else.
Excellent, excellent. So what are you making for us today first?
Well, I wanted to make a quick dish, just a shrimp recipe.
Okay.
So the important thing is that you always want to warm up your pan.
Okay.
You never want to add cold oil to a cold pan because your spices and your flavors are not going to bloom.
Okay.
So just warm it up, just kind of little bit, add some olive oil.
Okay. Now, when you say warm, does it have to be like hot to the touch? I mean, how warm are we making this?
Sort of medium hot.
Okay,
You
all
can
right.
touch it
That's
if you
great.
like.
All right. You've got one of those
and you will learn.
newfangled stovetops here.
Yes,
I like that.
love that because it's just easy to carry, and
Right.
you know, and as soon as you take the,
As
you
soon
know,
as you take it off, then
yeah,
it shuts off.
shuts
Okay.
off.
That's
So
cool.
as soon as it's warm, add some whole cumin.
These are whole cumin seeds.
That's
Excellent.
it's all about layering the flavors.
Layering. Okay.
Right. So that's our first layer of flavors.
All right.
Then I'm going to add some green onions.
Okay.
You can just chop them up. Beautiful colors. Because I think food has to be delicious, of course,
Of
but it
course.
has to be pretty.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
who wants
There's-
to try ugly food, really?
There's a certain aesthetic quality that food brings
Absolutely.
to the table, so to speak. So
So then you add your green onions.
excellent.
Hear
Ooh,
that
yeah.
sizzle? It's all
Yeah,
good.
it's ready.
It
We're
is
cooking
ready.
now here. All right. So you mentioned that when you moved to Wisconsin, nobody used spices. Not a lot of people use spices around
Right.
here. What can you talk to our audience a little bit about, like what you think that people are missing out on by not using spices?
A lot of things. First of all, it's a really healthy way to eat because then you don't have to worry about adding a lot of processed food or anything to bring that flavor.
Right.
There's no food coloring, there's no preservatives, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So a lot of health benefits and also delicious food.
Of course.
I mean, you know, healthy food doesn't have to be like bird feed.
Right.
So it has to be just be good.
Right.
So that's what I would say. One of the things, I think there's been a lot of research lately on spices. Think about like turmeric,
Sure. Yeah.
great stuff, and whole cumin. I use it in almost everything. You want to add your
Now we're adding
shrimp.
some shrimp.
And this is frozen because I like to keep it the frozen shrimp,
Yeah.
and it's cooked. And it will take like barely like 10 minutes to cook.
Okay. All right.
So a little bit of salt.
All right. I think the other thing about adding spices, to your point, flavor. A lot of folks think that it's the fat, and sugar that
Right,
brings
right.
flavor, which it does,
It's
but
just
not
bad
as healthy.
for you. No.
So
And please, I would request the audience as well that don't do this because that's not going to do anything.
right.
Do this. That's why we
Apply
actually package.
liberally.
Yes,
All
we package
right.
our spices in these big tins for a reason.
Right.
Because you can just go in and throw in
Yeah.
a bunch.
Spoons full. And I notice you're not really measuring. You're just kind of saying, okay, that looks good.
That's too
and-
much work. I just like to throw things in
Yeah.
and they work.
Yeah.
And just a bunch of garlic.
And that's exciting because the same dish never tastes the same 2 times in a row. Because you
Right.
might add a little bit more of one thing or a little bit more of another thing. So.
And
All
this
right.
is just going to start working. Let's increase our temperature here.
Cool. Now, you are a busy, busy woman, as we talked about a little bit
Yes.
before the show started today. Not only are you teaching people about cooking, you're a business analyst. You did a full half-hour cooking show, I think, for a
Yes,
while.
we did.
But you're still doing cooking classes. Talk to us a little bit about what's coming up for cooking classes.
Well, we have several cooking classes coming up, actually. One at Becca Cates in Baraboo.
Okay.
That's, I think, this month. And then there's a Middleton Library class that is, I think, November 3rd or November 4th, something like that. Then we have additional classes coming up at different libraries. Just go to our website, whitejasmine.com, click on cooking classes, and you will see the whole list.
All right.
So I just love to create simple recipes
Uh-huh.
like this, and then teach people, really encourage people to cook at home.
Sure.
Make something wonderful. We were talking earlier about how wonderful it is for relationships too. Cook together.
Cooking together, yep.
Yeah, either you'll make it or break it, but you can certainly try it.
Right, absolutely. And I think that, the great thing about cooking classes is, it's not just here's a recipe, here's how to put it together. It really teaches people the principles behind all of these spices, what
Right.
this spice adds, how these two work together, so that people have the confidence to improvise something. 'Cause
Oh,
I think that's half the
absolutely.
fun of cooking, really, is that you improvise. You make something up on the spot.
As you go along. And that's one of the things you asked that question that I don't measure anything. It is about cooking, it's a lot to do with intuition. I really want people to develop that, instead of thinking, oh, just half a teaspoon this, I don't want to measure everything.
Right.
I just go with it and
Right.
see what happens.
Just see what
you know?
happens. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. That's
This
very
is
cool.
almost ready.
So tell us a little bit about the spices that you have, that you're adding, and then what you brought with us, or what you brought with you here today.
And this is our saji masala, which is more like a chipotle barbecue flavor. These three are really our blends. These are exclusively created for white jasmine by me.
Okay.
And this is our tandoori and then garam. So it's a combination of different spices together.
Okay.
Instead of you going out and buying like 13 different spices, you know, we like to put it together for you. Just take a couple of teaspoons, throw that in there, and you're good to go.
That's easy enough. We like
Can't
that.
complain about not having time anymore, because that basmati rice is a very easy and forgiving rice.
Sure.
So you can always, if you haven't, if you're trying to make rice, just make that, and then you just throw all the shrimp on top of that with all the sauce, and there's your dinner. Very healthy.
There it is. There it
and
is.
beautiful.
Huma Siddiqui from White Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to be excited to eat that after the show. It was nice to see you.
Oh,
nice
my
to meet
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Don't go away. There's
Enjoy.
more restaurant show coming up after the break. Stick around. Coming up next on the restaurant show, white chicken chili with the egg and I. Welcome back to the restaurant show. With me now is Steve and Anna from the Egg and I. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, always good to have you with us. So we're making one of my personal favorite dishes here, white chicken chili, and we're doing it the Egg and I style, which I love, because you put such a, everything just tastes so good coming out of your restaurant. So what's the first thing that we need to do here? We've got a big pot up here that's nice and hot, so what do we do first?
Yeah. Well, we gotta get our butter in there and get our chilies going.
Okay, so you want to melt that butter.
Although in this case this is a butter blend, but regular butter works too.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the butter blend.
Oh, it's, what is it, 60-40?
60-40, butter and margarine?
You can get it at the store. I mean,
oh, okay.
Sometimes it's called a European blend.
Okay, cool. So then do we need to wait till it's completely melted, or can we start throwing stuff in there?
Oh,
wow.
It doesn't take too long.
Doesn't take long. All right, we
So
got some onion.
we want to get our onions and our chilies soft.
Okay.
So.
All right. And I might want to mention that this was a viewer request. Somebody requested that you make this.
Fans out there, how about that?
Yeah,
they're doing tailgating for the Badgers and the Packers, and they wanted us to make the chili for them.
That's cool.
So they're gonna try to psych out the recipe from watching us on TV. Right. So she's got the chilies in there, so it take a little bit of, not very long at all, to get them soft.
And these are just plain green chilies. You can get those in the little cans at the grocery store, right? Yeah. Okay.
We make large batches, so we use larger.
Sure.
And you know, unfortunately, I am recently moved, so I don't have my nice little dishes that we're used to.
That's all right. And the food will taste good coming out, which is what's important. So it looks like we've got chicken broth. We've got these Great Northern beans.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Great Northern beans. We got some seasoned chicken. This goes in last, I understand, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Half and half corn, and then some spices up here.
Yep.
Okay, so we're just kind of waiting now. We're just kind of waiting now for that to cook
it's
off.
probably good now. You probably get the. Well, it's kind of early to add the flour. I like to put this in before the flour.
Well, we can wait. We got some things to talk about. So you, Egg and I is doing a menu flip on October 31st.
Yes.
Exciting. And you've got
some... Was that the whole menu?
Just feature items.
Our feature menu.
Feature menu items, yeah. So tell us what's going to be on the menu.
All right, so we are going to have, wow, a real lot of neat stuff.
Yeah.
The hash that we try to do a hash.
Holiday hash.
This time it's a holiday hash. We try to do a hash on every one of the features.
Okay.
So this one, it's just called a holiday hash, but it's got this really nice topping on it. It's a chipotle tomato hollandaise that we make.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited with this one.
That'll be good.
So she made a little roux in there. You know, for TV we have to move a little faster than normal. So she's adding. This is just chicken broth.
Okay.
You can get it at a store, any store.
Sure. Simple stuff. Simple stuff.
Yeah.
So you
and
got,
then we're doing a few other things too. Now we're using we're going to have a waffle that has cinnamon chocolate chips in it. Ooh. They're cooked right into it. It's not a topping, it's in it.
It's infused.
Yes,
it's infused.
as it were.
All right. And then you've got another pancake that's very interesting to me. And what was that one? It was the carrot cake one, right?
Right. Now she's going to be, it's got to warm up a little bit before she shocks it with this cream, the half and half.
Okay.
But yes, we're doing, this is, I'm excited here now. It's a carrot cake pancake. Doesn't that sound something?
Wow, wow. And that carrot cake is such a nice fall flavor, so I think it'll be appropriate for when you guys flip over to that. So awesome, awesome. And then you're also continuing with your fall harvest bisque because that's been such a great hit over there.
Well, it went over pretty well, so we're going to continue that till around the end of the year.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And I'm wondering if you can tell folks a little bit about the apron that you're wearing today, the Salvation Army.
Well, we do a little bit of stuff with the Salvation Army, and they come and have their some of their committee meetings in our restaurant.
Sure.
And we've been doing things with them for almost since we opened.
Okay.
So, and that was a little over 5 years ago. It's been 5 years.
5 years. Wow. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, they're kicking off the bell ringer season. That's coming up pretty quick.
Yep. So if you want to be a bell ringer, give them a call for sure. So.
Oh, most definitely.
Awesome. So this is half and half, right?
It's half and half, yep.
Okay. All right. Now, this has to be, I'm curious about these beans now. Some of the beans, sometimes you get them and they ask you to drain the beans. Do you drain these beans?
We drained them a little bit.
Okay, you drain them a little bit.
So, yeah, this is there's too much juice in there otherwise.
All right,
yeah, she's going to add all the seasonings.
Tell me about the seasonings. What
so
you got here?
That's just a regular
chili powder.
Chili powder? Okay. All right.
And then the cumin.
Cumin.
That's a chipotle Tabasco coming up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's something I've never added to my chicken chili. Cumin is something that is it's kind of the staple of chicken chili, I think. You got to have that.
That's to me, that's the chili flavor in chili, more than even the chili powder.
Right.
If it doesn't have that in there, that's just kosher salt right there.
Kosher salt?
And then white pepper is also up there.
Yep, got to have some white pepper.
Yeah, don't want to overdo that. White pepper is more peppery than regular black pepper.
And then corn, do you add that, or is that towards the end? When do you add this? After that's cooked for a little while?
Well, this is going to normally simmer for a while.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead. The corn was frozen, so it's all right to put it in now anyway. It takes a while for it to.
Okay. All right. Cool. We'll check back in just a moment when everything is simmered, and then
well, actually, we could go ahead and just put these two.
Want to just put those in right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and dump those in.
Yeah, they'll speed things up a little bit. Okay. At home, you might want to slow things down and for the sake of TV.
For the sake of TV, we'll kind of give you the gist of it here. And I'm sure it's going to taste pretty good.
Oh yeah, you can't really go wrong with this.
You can't go wrong with it. You can't go wrong with it. So we'll take a quick pause here, and then we'll come back and we'll look at it when it's ready to eat. Okay, so our chili has been simmering for a little while, and now it's time to add the chicken, right?
Right. The chicken is already cooked.
Okay, chicken's already cooked.
And sliced into strips.
Okay.
So normally we would let that heat through, but we don't have enough time. So
that's all right. It'll still be good.
Give it a couple of stirs, and we'll serve it up and put some garnish on it.
All right, excellent. Excellent. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful. So how do we garnish this up? We put some cheese.
It's cheddar and Monterey Jack.
Sure.
A little cilantro, and those are flour tortilla strips that we cut into strips and we fry them in the restaurant.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm excited to give this a try after the break. Steve and Anna from the Egg and I, thank you so much for joining us today. Don't go away. There's more restaurant show coming up after the break. Stick around. Thanks so much for joining me here today on the Restaurant Show. I hope that when you're out and about looking for a place to eat or at the grocery store, you'll consider using any one of these fantastic local businesses. That's all the time we have for today on the Restaurant Show. This is Justin Riley reminding you that life is too short to eat average. We'll see you next time.
This episode of The Restaurant Show brought to you by AccuClimb Mechanical Services.